Hey guys, sorry for this video. I know this isn't comic book related, and I don't usually ever do this. I have another channel for stuff like this, but this one just really hit me the wrong way, and I want to talk about it, so I'm going to talk about it. Charlie Kirk. I don't know if you know who he is. He is a right-wing activist of some sort, more of a talk show host. But yeah, he's right-leaning for sure. Was doing one of his shows on campus in Utah, and some piece of shit shot and killed Charlie Kirk. Well, now there are deaths that happen and murders that happen, even with celebrities, even with athletes and high profile figures, and people go, oh wow, that's kind of sad, and we do our rest in peace little posts on Facebook or social media and everything, and then in a week or two you forget about it. But the reason why this one hits me so hard is it just shows where what we have become as a society. They took this man from his children, from his wife, and from his family because they didn't agree with his politics or his political views, for no other reason. No other reason. If you've ever watched any of his stuff, is he provocative? Yeah, but he doesn't lock people in a room with him. If you don't want to hear what he has to say, you're free to walk away. That's the beauty of this country. But he wasn't free to express what he wanted to say without having to take a bullet in the face for it. And that infuriates me. And I'm sorry, no microphone today, so sound quality might not be that great. My phone was about to die, so I'm plugging it in. Listen, I don't care what your political views are. I don't agree with everything Trump does, but I don't agree with anything that the left has been doing. And that's why they lost the left lost this election. Is not so much that people love Trump, they just hate what you people are standing for. And I'm not saying all you people. My best friend is a lefty, and we can get along and communicate just fine. He is the exception to the rule, I have found. I have been unfriended by at least 5 people who I've known for years and years because they didn't agree with me politically. I have never, ever deleted anyone off my Facebook or unfriended them or ruined a friendship because I didn't agree with them politically. Ever. I have never done that. Never. And the fact that we have come to the point where it's not even good enough to just disassociate with someone who doesn't agree with you, but now we can fucking kill them. And I'm sorry, but when the left climbs up on their high horse and they start flashing their moral superiority about how accepting they are of people who are different in all this, and then somebody takes 2 attempts at the president of the United States' life and then kills somebody who is having a peaceful demonstration, a peaceful gathering of people who were there to hear him speak. You didn't have to be there if you don't agree with the man. If you don't like the man, you don't have to be there. But somebody decided not only were they going to show up anyway, but then they were going to take the man's life. I'm not trying to generalize, but like I said, not every person who's liberal or left-leaning is a bad person. I'm not saying that. I am saying that the party in general is just fucking evil. I'm sorry. I know a lot of you are going to freaking unsubscribe to my channel, and I'm probably going to get a lot of hate in here, but it's been shown over and over and over and over and over and over again. The left has violently had violent demonstrations, and please don't throw up January 6th. That is the one little crumb of justification that you guys can cling on to. Well, let me tell you about January 6th. Okay, 5 people died, and they were the demonstrators. And 1 security guard died, and he died from a heart attack. Probably because of the stress involved in the situation. Right. Okay. But we're talking about mass shooters, the firemen that had to die because somebody didn't like Trump, had to die in front of his kid because he didn't like Trump. The massive riots and the people that are getting killed in the streets and businesses that are getting burned to the ground because somebody doesn't agree with your politics. That isn't happening. You don't see the right-wing people going looting Bass Pro. No, we disagree with you. We're labeled as racist, homophobic, rednecks, unintelligent, and a million other disrespectful terms that you can think of. And yes, the right has thrown back some disrespectful terms for you guys too. And I know it goes both ways, but it's going a lot more that way than it is this way. The sense of entitlement that's coming. You think you should be able to do whatever you want, have everything your way, and there should be no consequences. I hope they fry this guy twice. Whoever shot Charlie Kirk, I hope they slowly torture that man to death. I don't care. Ironically, the left is anti-gun. Well, there you go. I bet you're pro that gun, though, aren't you? And the fact that there are people on social media trying to justify this and say he had it coming disgusts me beyond words. I can't even begin to tell you how bad that disgusts me. You know, I'll tell you what. I didn't like Biden. I certainly didn't like Kamala, but I certainly don't want to see anybody put a bullet in either one of them's head. And I certainly aren't going to celebrate it when it happens. And you wonder why there's the right thinks the left is crazy. It's because of shit like that. Y'all get on there. Y'all can't resist an opportunity on social media to bash someone for their political beliefs. You can't wait. I don't care if I post a post saying I like nacho cheese Doritos. You'll find some way to make it an anti-Trump comment on there and turn it political. And it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And you can say the right does it too. You know, maybe they do, but not to the extent. I don't see it to the extent that I see it from the left. The Trump bashing and the right, the Republican bashing is just absolutely ridiculous. And I just can't believe that as a society that left and right can't come together and say this is fucked up and something needs to change, because something needs to change. You know, whatever happened to the day it wasn't that long ago when people had different political views and we were like, okay, cool, and we shook hands and we moved on. We can't do that anymore, and I don't know why. Y'all are demanding that boys be in women's locker rooms. Y'all are demanding that men compete against women in sports. You can't have a pancake bottle without flipping out. And yes, everybody flipped out about the Cracker Barrel thing. Don't care. But what did we do? We didn't protest. We didn't burn down buildings, and we didn't loot nothing. They just stopped spending their money there. I didn't like Cracker Barrel anyway, so I didn't give a shit whether they changed their logo or not. And that's the way it should be. You can't fly. If you fly a Confederate flag, you're a racist. But if you fly a Malcolm X flag or a Pride flag or hell, any other flag, that's okay. That's okay. You know, and it's a bunch of bullshit. And I'm so sick to death of it. So sick to death to the point where, I mean, I don't know what else there is to do anymore. I don't know how people are how you can't see your own actions and see that you are an absolute maniac. I don't see how you could be friends with somebody for 30, 40 years and then just like that shut them off because they don't believe what you believe politically. Don't see how you could do that. And the fact that you can't see that that's extreme and absolutely ridiculous bothers me even more. The fact that you would defend a man for stabbing an innocent woman who wasn't doing a damn thing on a train while 5 other people sat there and watched and didn't do shit. And the fact that you think that's acceptable, and I've seen the posts, I have seen it, and people are going, oh well, you know, it is what it is, and you know, and no media coverage until they were forced to cover it. You didn't find out about it until it was on social media. And guess why? I wonder. You don't think that if the races were reversed, that you'd hear it and it'd be all over the place? There'd be rioting, there'd be looting and everything else. And that's just historically accurate. That is not even my opinion. That has been historically accurate. And then when they finally are backed into a corner and they have to report about this innocent woman, all they could say was how the right has used this as a catalyst to attack the left. Not, oh my God, this is tragic. I hope I hope they fry the son of a bitch. Not hearts and thoughts and prayers or no condolences for the young lady that was stabbed to death while people watched her die. None of that. It was the right's just using this as an opportunity to give a gotcha to the left-wing media people for not reporting it. I know, I'm fired up. And I know you ain't used to seeing me like this. But, man, this one just hit hard. This one hit hard. And it's kind of the final straw. And here's what's going to happen. And here's my prediction. For all those people that are basically keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, eventually people are going to push back. And you've seen it already. It started with electing Trump. Probably not everybody's first choice as president, even if you're on the right. But when you have a choice of eating, or when you have the choice between one pile of shit or a huge pile of shit, you're going to take the smallest pile of shit and move on. And that's what we were up against. So that's what's going to happen. You're going to push people back. You're going to push people into a corner. You're going to keep calling them racist. You're going to you're gonna keep killing off anybody that disagrees with you until somebody fights back, until people get sick and tired of it and they fight back. And then you're looking at a civil war. And guess what? You're not going to win that one. So be careful what you wish for. But I've gone off the rails. The main point is that you cannot point your fingers at the right wingers, at Republicans, and say that we are the unhinged ones when shit like this is going on. Okay? You can't call us the radical ones when shit like this is going on. All Republicans want is for you to leave us the fuck alone. If you want to pretend like you're a girl, pretend like you're a girl. Nobody cares. Just stay out of our women's bathrooms. Give women the right to choose their privacy. And I don't care who you are. If you're a male and you go in to an 8-year-old girl's dressing room at school, no. So as far as the bathrooms things go, I don't know why they just haven't made them all unisex and move on with it. Put a lock on the door and move on with it. But you can't act like savage animals when you don't get your way. And that's what's going on right now, is savage animals that aren't getting their way are taking pot shots at people. And if you can't see that that's wrong, then there's something fundamentally wrong with you. So, that being said, I've ranted on for almost 20 minutes and I'm still heated. I shouldn't probably film videos 5 minutes after I hear the news, but it just disturbed me. I liked Charlie Kirk. I liked what he stood for. I didn't always agree with him either. Don't always agree with a lot of people that are, right-wing analysts. I don't always agree with Ben Shapiro. I like him. Don't always agree with him. But you know what? That's okay. I'm not going to take a gun out and blow his head off. Didn't like Kamala. Not going to take a gun out and blow her head off. Because that's the difference between civilized human beings and uncivilized human beings. And right now, the left is acting like some uncivilized human beings. Not all. I know y'all are going to say, not all left-wingers are like that. I know not all of you are like that. But the overwhelming majority, that the ones that have chosen to shine the spotlight on themselves, mind you, they're over there going, hey, look at me. Hey, look at me. They are the radical ones. They are the ones that need to be put in check and calm the fuck down. Whatever happened to live and let live? Don't agree with me politically? Okay, cool. You want to fly a rebel flag in your yard? Okay, cool. I don't like what you're saying? Okay, cool. I don't have to listen to you. Don't like a TV show? I can change the channel. Don't like a song? I can change the channel. Don't like a product? Don't have to buy it. Don't like a restaurant? Don't have to eat there. Why can you people not do that? Why? Didn't like a beer? Just stopped buying it. We didn't storm Anheuser, Busch, or Budweiser or whatever. We didn't storm the processing facility, headquarters, and demand anything. We just quit buying it because that's your choice. Don't want to own a gun? Don't own one. But why is that so difficult for people? Please, I'm begging you, if you're a lefty and you're in my comments and you're watching, please explain to me why it is so hard for you guys to just say, not my thing, I'm going to keep my mouth shut and not support it. They blew up a fucking drug-filled boat in the Caribbean, and they say, oh, they broke maritime law. No, they didn't break maritime laws. They didn't. Look them up. I did. Maritime law gives you the right to use deadly force on a vessel in international waters if you believe them to be hostile or terrorist. And that drug cartel that I can't pronounce is hostile and terroristic. And the fact that anybody has a problem with them blowing up a boat full of druggies and cocaine and calling it a day, you don't get due process when you're a drug lord, when you're a drug cartel and you're carting a boatload of poison into our country. And somebody said to me, well, if he quit, if he would focus on the drug problem that's here in the United States instead of sending money to foreign countries, then instead of ignoring the drug problem, well, I looked it up for him. Federal prisons contain 41% of the inmates in federal drug prisons are in there for drug trafficking, for drug charges, drug related. So we are cracking down. We are trying to crack down, but we do have a drug problem in the United States. And before you can address the drug problem in the United States, don't you think maybe cutting off the supply might be a very good start? I think so. But no, people care more about the lives of terrorists than they do of a political analyst who is given a speech. Or they care more about the drug dealers' lives than they do the Ukrainian. That one had to set you guys' hamster wheel, make you scratch your head. All these pro-Ukraine flags that you've been flying in your social media avatars. For a Ukrainian woman to get murdered, brutally murdered, and no outrage there. Blow up a truck, blow up a boat full of cartel with a boatload of drugs, and all of a sudden, oh my God, we can't do that. Talk about your selective outrage. Oh my God, it's just ridiculous. I know. I know once I get going, guys. And usually I try to steer away from my political opinions as much as possible, but man, this one just burns my ass. It just burns my ass. Even more than the Trump assassination attempts, this one burns my ass. Trump's got a big mouth, and he kind of invites people to do stupid shit. Sometimes he gets on social media, he's got a big mouth. Charlie Kirk has never been anything but peaceful, respectful, and he doesn't raise his voice, he doesn't get mad, he doesn't scream and yell at people even when they do it to him. That's what political discord should be. You should be able to talk and open up a line of communication. Things get solved that way. Maybe your opinion is right and mine is wrong. And talking about it civilly, we can reach some kind of common ground. But when you're screaming and shooting at each other, there's no common ground reached. None whatsoever. And I'm happy to calmly discuss anything with anybody, but I'm just like anybody else. You shout me down and I'm going to shout back, and you ain't going to accomplish anything. You're not going to convince me. You're not going to change my mind, because I stop listening the minute you raise your voice or the minute you call me a name or you're disrespectful to me. I don't want to hear anything else you got to say. That shuts down communication, and that's what the fucking problem is in this country, is people getting shouted down for expressing their opinions. My best friend doesn't agree with me politically on just about everything. I don't agree with him politically on just about everything. we don't shout each other down. It's called being an adult. Just try it sometime. It's actually very liberating. Being liberals, you should appreciate that, right? At any rate, I'm gonna shut up. I don't even know if I'm gonna post this. Maybe I just needed to vent my frustrations, or I may just post this on my Y-Files channel. Don't know, but I'm upset, and I probably crossed the line on a few things that I've said, but that's what I feel. And you're welcome to unsubscribe to my channel if you find what I say to be inaccurate or offensive. I don't care. I read shit that's offensive to me all the time, but that's the difference is I don't let it bother me. I just go whatever and move on in my life. Sometimes I fire back just for sport when somebody says something that directly offends me. But in general, I try to just pass it by. I don't know. But I can promise you one thing. If you come in my comments and you try to justify the actions, justify the shooting of Charlie Kirk, or justify the murdering of that Ukrainian refugee on the train. See, we're sympathetic toward the Ukrainian refugee, even though we're, ICE is deporting illegal aliens, and we're all about, we're racist and bigots, and we're trying to get rid of everybody that's not Snow White in this country, or that doesn't come from this country. And how we didn't support Ukraine or whatever you want to say, but we can have a heart and be sympathetic towards someone even though they're not like us. You should try that sometime too. Any rate, I'm gonna go simmer down, have a cigarette, maybe even a drink, and cool my shit off. We'll end this video a little different. Appreciate you watching. If you don't like what I had to say, feel free to hit that unsubscribe button. Give me a thumbs down and stop following me. And on that one, peace. I mean, really, peace.